Alright, fuckers, welcome back to the Football Manager 2018 Into the Future series with Scottish football. Now, we covered a bunch of teams 5 years into the future. I've now decided that we're going to move on. We're going to skip another 5 years, and we're now going 10 years into the future, and the first team up is Celtic. But before we get into this video, guys, just want to let you know I moved house on Friday. I've had no internet, my Xbox isn't set up, so I can't get the FIFA series out. I've only got my laptop. I'm having to hotspot off my phone data, so to be honest, to make this one video alone, it's probably going to cost me more money than I'd make in 10 years on YouTube, and that's not a piss take. It's probably going to cost me about 20 quid just to stream enough data from my phone to make this video and upload it. But gotta do it, man. Gotta be consistent, gotta be loyal. So here we go. We're covering Celtic, and last time out, if you remember, Celtic did win 5 titles in a row. They started off the series, the first season, with a staggering 33 point advantage over second place Rangers from the first season. That was 2017 to 18. But by the end of the 5 years, they only beat Rangers to the title by 5 points. So to me, that suggests the gap is closing, and perhaps this time around, will Celtic be beatable in the 5 years? If the Rangers can cut the gap by 33 points to 5 points from 5 years, then I don't see why they can't win it in the next 5. But then again, it wasn't just Rangers. It's not like Rangers finished second the whole 5 years. There was other teams. I believe Hibs finished second, Hearts finished second, and I think maybe Aberdeen finished second as well. I can't remember. You watched the Fids, I watched the Fids, but off the top of my head, I can't remember right now. So you see, Celtic are a 3.5 star team. I think they start the game at a 3-star team, so it looks like they might have went up one. Still in the Premiership, as you'd expect, in the European Champions Cup, and the media prediction is first. Captain is Marco Paggia, and vice-captain is Dominic Lavikovic. So remember, guys, this is 10 years into the future now, so it is going to be a pretty much a whole different team from what they started with. They've currently got 54,509 season ticket holders. So Celtic looking good, looking strong. Let's check out how they got on the 6th season. And to answer that question, no, Rangers couldn't close the gap. Celtic have done it. 6th season into Scottish football, and they've won the league again, finishing on 88 points. This time it was Hearts who were their closest rivals on 78. Rangers on 72, Aberdeen 71, Hibernian 65, and then a huge 20 points gap all the way back to Hamilton, who got a very good 6th place finish. Now, I need to make a wee correction here. I thought Hibs got a 2nd place in the previous 5 seasons, but they didn't, as you can see. I'll just quickly show you them now. 2nd place teams were Rangers, Hearts, Rangers, and then obviously the 6th season, it was Hearts there. So as you can see, Rangers there falling back again, but Celtic top of the league. It is what it is. And 20 goals conceded, 68 goals scored. So they scored the most goals, conceded the least amount of goals. Lost 4 games. 2 of them were to Hearts, 1 of them was to Rangers, 1 of them was to Hamilton. So they only lost against teams in the top 6. And yeah, comfortable for them. But how did they get on in European football? That's what we need to see. And the answer is not very well. Celtic obviously going straight into the Champions League group stage due to the Scottish coefficient improving. But we can see they didn't really get out of that. Tough group though, I've got to give them credit for picking up some points. They got Montpellier, Arsenal and Atletico Madrid. So it was always going to be difficult to get out of that. Good 3-1 home win against Montpellier in the first game. Suk Young Jung, Gary Merrill and Jay De Silva getting the goals for Celtic in that one. And then a narrow 1-0 defeat against Arsenal at the Emirates. Then a 2-0 defeat at Madrid. Atletico heading into the next game. Another defeat, and that's 3 defeats in a row. Unlucky there, losing 2-1. Did get Pontas Janssen sent off in the 41st minute. Probably didn't help. They got a late goal back through Marco Paggia, but it wasn't enough, obviously, to rescue any points from that. In the third game, their fifth game, should I say, second game against Montpellier. They got a 2-2 draw away from home. And then in the final game, another very narrow defeat to Arsenal. Ryan McAllister getting the Arsenal goal. So Celtic, they're unlucky, and you could argue in this Champions League, they lost 3 of the games by just 1 goal against very strong opposition in Arsenal and Atletico. So we've got them on 4 points. Did they manage to get out of that? Did they get into Europa League? Oh, they did, so good for them. We'll check out how they got on here. Another tough tie against Liverpool, but first up, they beat Dumbarton in the Scottish Cup 4th round, beat Inverness in the 5th round, looking strong here for another cup run. The Europa League didn't last long though, did it? Tough tie though against Liverpool, but you can see Naby Keita, Robert Firmino and Sadio Mane getting the goals for Liverpool, and that was a 3-0 defeat at Anfield, sending them out of the competition. Again, in that first match, Celtic seemed to be getting players sent off left, right and centre here. Anthony Ralston getting sent off after the 65th minute. Aberdeen drew against them in the Scottish Cup quarter-final, then beat them in the replay at Parkhead, before losing at Hampden to Hibernian in a semi-final. And then they went on to go and win the league. So, probably not. How did they do in the Betfred Cup again? We'll just check. They lost in the semi-finals to Hearts. So overall, I'd say that's a pretty poor season for Celtic. Didn't make any of the finals of the domestic cup, albeit yes, they did win the league, but they failed to get the Champions League group stage, and then they lost in the first round of the Europa League, so knockout stage. I mean, I think that compared to what they did in the previous 5 years, it's definitely a step backwards, but I guess it's 6 in a row they've won in total. It must be about 13 in a row. So I guess they won't be too annoyed with that, but you'd probably have expected them to do a little bit better. But like I said, Scottish football in this game is getting stronger and stronger, and I'm sure they'll be back next season to try and make a dent in Europe. And you can see at the end of the season, they've let a lot of players go, brought a lot of players in as well, mind you, but look at that, 28.5 million out, 22 million in. Who have they got in? Noticeable players, they've got Jesus Corona from Boet, whoever the fuck that is. We'll have a quick look at him now. He doesn't play for Celtic anymore, and he's only valued at 275k, so maybe it's because of his age, maybe it's because he was absolute shit, I don't quite know, but his values went way down since his Celtic days. Brought in Matheus Uribe, Will Norris, Jordan Hugill, Felipe Gutierrez, Liam Boyce. Is that the Liam Boyce that played for Ross County? Fuck, it is. Liam Boyce that played for Ross County. Can't believe Celtic have ended up buying him. He played for Red Bull Salzburg, and Celtic have paid 1.8 million for him. Mental. Roque Meza from Swansea, 4 million, and Kieran James on loan. So Celtic might have spent 22 million, but to be honest, I think they'd have been better off spending it on the one player. To me, that's just, I don't know, man. It looks, they brought in a lot of players, but is any of them really going to improve the team? I don't really know. Who did they get rid of? I'm looking at noticeable sales. Wait, did they not just bring that Jay De Silva in? No, they didn't. But anyway, they've sold Jay De Silva to Liverpool for 9.25 million. Diego Reyes out for 2.5. Yuri, who they just brought in, went out for 2.4. Lasars went to Besiktas for 1.4. And Song Hyung Min has been sold to the Chinese club Wang Jiang. If I'm pronouncing these wrong, let me know. But how the hell the fuck would you know how you pronounce that in Chinese? I mean, come on. And he went there for 12.25 million. So overall, I mean, Celtic probably weakening their squad a little bit here. Probably won't matter as much in the league, but if they want to go further in Europe, then they're going to have to strengthen, they're going to have to spend money, and they don't appear to have done it this season. Alright, so before we head into the 7th season, let's just have a quick look at what the Celtic team currently looks like. They've got Lakovic, Ralston, Roko, Mantanhin, Owusa, Victor Wanyama, who they bought back last time, if you remember, of Tottenham in the 5-year series that we covered. Siwiec, Mesa, Paquet, who are obviously one of the top players, Corona, who they've just brought in, and Federico Santander up front. Is that a team that's going to retain the Ladbrokes Premiership? Is that a team that's going to go far in the Champions League? Let's find out. Alright, so Celtic have done it again, 7 seasons in, and it's a 7th title win. Again, 10 points, this time back to Rangers. So they kept their 10-point gap. Hearts have fallen off dramatically. Last season, Hearts were 10 points behind Celtic. This season, a staggering 32. So, looks like Hearts have definitely took a step backwards in this game, or for this season at least. And Rangers and Hibernian finishing both on 77 points. But again, it's another league title for Celtic, and I guess we weren't really expecting anything else. 10 points is a pretty comfortable margin. Will it get brought down in the next 3 seasons? I hope so. I'd like to see it get a bit competitive, but anyway, let's check out how they got on domestically in the Cups and in Europe. Alright, so straight away I can see in the Betfred Cup they've had a bit of success. Beat Kilmarnock in the second round in a good 3-2 extra time win against Rangers in the quarterfinals. Another extra time win against Hearts in the semi-finals. That sets up a Betfred Cup final. They'll be looking to get a good cup win under their belt this season after not winning any of the cups last season. But Champions League again, goes straight into the group stage. Again, you can see another tough group. Bayern, Liverpool and Lyon, and they've lost their first 3 games. First game, 3-0 loss to Bayern. Goals for Goretzka, Brandt and Tah. At home, not what you need. At Anfield, a fucking shocking 3-0 defeat. Didn't help to have Victor Wanyama sent off. So Liverpool picking up 3 points against Celtic. And then in their third game against Lyon, another defeat, this time 2-0. So 3 games in, 8 goals conceded, not a goal scored. Looks like Celtic are going straight out of Europe this time. Don't even look like they're going to finish third. But they did pick up a home win against Lyon. So Wanyama sent off last time around. This time made up for it a wee bit. Got a goal. Got his team to 3 points. Gives them a chance of finishing third. And then a 2-0 defeat against Bayern. And played then a draw against Liverpool. So 4 points in total. And they won the Betfred Cup semi-final against Motherwell. So there you go, a bit of positive for Celtic. They got 4 points out the Champions League group. Will that be enough to get them into Europa? I doubt it. They would have been in it by now. So it looks like they're going to be out. But we'll check on how far they were behind. Alright, so actually Celtic did finish first. So either the fixtures for the Europa League must have been delayed, or the Champions League rules have been changed and third place no longer qualifies. We'll have to go and check here and see what happened. Alright, my bad. It looks like the Europa League knockout stage has just started a bit later this season. And Celtic got drawn against Wolfsburg. A nice 1-0 win at home. Unfortunately, followed up by a 3-1 away defeat. Liam Boyce there getting the goal for Celtic away, but goals for Paul George in the tip, Nane Damita and Yunus Mali getting Wolfsburg the win. If Celtic could have got another one, it would have put them through an away goal, but unfortunately they didn't. And again, they've been knocked out at the Europa League knockout stage at the first possible time. They did make it to the semi-final of the Scottish Cup though, before losing to Hibernian again at Hampden. And it's another disappointing run in the Scottish Cup, not getting to the final, 2 seasons in a row there. And disappointing there, but what can you do? I mean, they won the league again, managed to finish third in the group stage. They keep getting tough draws in the Champions League, to be fair, so maybe next season if they get an easier group they can go further. But as for now, it looks like they're just going to have to settle for winning the league. And, maybe winning the odd cup and settling for third, because that seems to be all they can do at the moment. Alright, moving into the next season, it's another year where they've only spent 6.5 million, sold a bunch of players for 12, so I mean they're spending about half of what they're actually selling. They've sold Jesus Corona, Federico Santander. These are players that were in their starting 11. Liam Boyce sold him as well, so not a great looking season here, and I definitely don't think they're improving their team. It looks like they're actually going backwards. And here's what Celtic's team looks like going into the third season. Some good players in there with regens. You've got Robbie Taylor, looks like a regen, valued at 11 million. Seems like a decent player. He's already got 14 caps for Scotland. Then again, you don't have to be great to get picked for Scotland. We've got Jonathan Soha, a Ghanaian regen. He's only 22 years old and he's got 50 caps already, so he looks like he's a good player. So yeah, maybe Celtic don't have all the big names, but they do have some very good regens. And obviously they've got players like Rocco, who's decent. Ralston, Anthony Ralston, I think he should have evolved into a good player by now. Yeah, look at that, he's valued at 10.75 million. We've got Paka, who I think is their main man, valued at 5.75, yes, 32 years old though, so it could be the reason why. Obviously got Wanyama as well, another solid player. But yeah, man, the team's alright, but they do need to, I think they need to invest a little bit if they want to improve in Europe. Anyway, let's go on with season 3 of this episode, 8 in total. Right, well, holy crap, man, I wasn't expecting that. Rangers have won the league after God knows how many seasons. It's the 24-25 season. I think the last time Rangers won the league was 2010, 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was that year. So what is that? That is, 13, 14 years since Rangers have won the title. So Rangers finally winning the title. It's been a long wait, but they've done it. 84 points. And Celtic, they are finishing in 3rd place. Hibernian even beating Celtic there. So Celtic used to finishing in the top 2, used to finishing 1st, and now they've finished 3rd. That might mean no European football as well, which could affect them financially. But yeah, disappointing for Celtic domestically, and they'll be absolutely gutted with that. It might be enough to even get Brendan Rodgers fired, who knows. But yeah, I mean, unless he's done really well in Europe, he's won the cups or something like that, he could be under fire here for sure. So this time, looks like Celtic perhaps got a slightly easier group in the Champions League with Bayern, Monaco and Shakhtar, but still going to be pretty tough to get out of. First game, another absolute destruction there. Bayern Munich beating them 4-1. Goals for Cousins, Goretzka, Brandt and Gabriel Jesus. Victor Wanyama getting a consolation for Celtic. Then a 3-0 defeat to Monaco. Very poor there away from home. Celtic's away form in Europe just isn't good enough. Paul Pogba, he's back he's back in France. And he never was in France. Well, I guess he must have been in France when he was young, I guess. But he's now in France playing for Monaco. So, good signing for them. If he's still any decent, that is. Away, going to Ukraine, picking up a point against Shakhtar Donetsk. And then beating Shakhtar Donetsk 4-0 at Celtic Park. That is such a result, man. Goals for Misbaibe, or whatever the fuck he's called, Marco Padja and Ryan McCall getting 2 goals at a brace. Very good result there. And a 3-0 defeat again away to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich has just smashed Celtic over the past 2 seasons. Completely raped them. And then a 3-0 home defeat to Monaco, which again is shocking. But it should be enough to get them 3rd place. That's not what they want though. They want to get into the latter stages of the Champions League, but at the moment it's just not happening. They did beat Hearts though in the Betfred Cup final, 2-1. Another Betfred Cup, that is 2 Betfred Cups in a row. But it seems to be the Scottish Cup that they're struggling in, and obviously that is the much more prestigious cup. So we'll see how they got on in the Scottish Cup, and we'll see if they progressed any further in the Europa League. So a 4th round win against Montrose, and then a 3-0 win in the 5th round against Falkirk. So pretty comfortable draws so far for Celtic, getting through the ties. No bother. Got Guingamp in the Europa Cup, 1st round knockout stage. An easier tie than the last few, and they've still lost. So it doesn't seem to matter who Celtic get, whether it's Liverpool, or whether it's Schalke, or whether it's Guingamp. They just can't seem to get past that 1st round of the knockout stage. Not good enough. Then in the Scottish Cup quarter-final, a draw against Motherwell, managed to win the replay 3-1, before losing another Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden. That is 3 years in a row Celtic here have lost in the Scottish Cup semi-final. This time losing the Hearts, last 2 times losing the Hibs. Just seems like you can't get past the Edinburgh sides in the semi-final of these cups. And then they went on to finish their season not very strongly. Lost to Rangers in the last day, so that was a title decider. Rangers would have had a 1-point lead going into this game, and Celtic had a chance to win the title and just couldn't take it. So yeah, unfortunately for them, that they had a chance to win it on the last day, and they didn't. I mean, that would be mental. Rangers Celtic title decider last day. There would be deaths at that, man, for sure. It would be like zombie apocalypse, end of the world kind of shit. If there was a Glasgow Old Firm derby for the title again last day of the season. Not going to happen, but if it did, it'd be pretty mental. Alright, and it appears that Celtic are definitely going to fire back after that disappointing 3rd season. You can see for the first time now in this series, this episode, should I say, the 4 seasons, they've spent more than they have sold, bringing in 19.25 million worth of players and only selling 8.25. So they've invested a bit in the team. They'll need to do it. Obviously, without the money from the Champions League, they might struggle a little bit. They might not have the finances, but they've spent some money. They've brought in Cameron Carter-Vickers for 5 mil, Kevin Stewart for 6 mil, bunch of players really. Silico Domagis from America, potentially rising up to 6.25. The Paraguayan, who else have we got here? This guy Kevin Stewart for Hull, 33 years old now, no longer plays for them. So, and who did they sell? They sold Anchis B. Sambo for 8 mil. Bobby Reid got sold, Bob Templeton got sold, Christian Davenport got sold. So at this stage of the game, you don't really know any of these players. A lot of them are regens, a lot of them are players who we just maybe weren't familiar with, and now we don't know them, so there you go. But anyway, looking into the fourth season, obviously it depends on how the other teams around them have spent, but I think you would expect Celtic to reclaim their Scottish title. Even though it's technically not theirs, it's Rangers, but you think Celtic would win it back. And they have won it back. A much better season this time around. 90 points. Only lost 2 games. Undefeated at home. Lost 2 to Hearts and Motherwell away. And yeah, 18 points over Rangers and Hearts. Comfortably finishing first. And they reclaim their Scottish title. They must still be raging that Rangers won it last year and they finished third. But yeah, so there you go. Celtic back top of the Premiership, and I wonder if they can go on another run. They won 13, I think it was 13 titles in a row. I wonder if they can start another run and try and get back to 13. But yeah, so there you go, Celtic top. I'll be interested to see how they go on in Europe this season. They're not in the Champions League, so perhaps it'll be easier for them. Perhaps they'll get further, or will they still get knocked out at the first knockout round of the Europa League? We're going to have to wait and see. Let's find out. Well, you can see Celtic first of all, comfortable 3-0 win against whoever the hell that is. KGHM Sagabib beat them 3-0 and then 1-1 a draw, so 4-1 in aggregate to get through. And then Anoma in the fourth qualifying round, comfortable 4-0 aggregate win over them. And that got them into the Europa League group stage, where they got a draw against Hajduk Split, Hapoel Beersheva and Shakhtar. So they beat Hajduk Split, beat Sheriva, lost to Shakhtar, drew with Shakhtar, drew with Hajduk Split, and then beat Hapoel Beersheva. I think that will just be enough to get them through. Not comfortably as you'd maybe if expecting them to do it, but it should be enough to get them into the next stage. And it was 11 points in the end, probably easier than I thought. Hajduk Split there, I think, doing very poor. I thought they'd have picked up more than 2 points, but they didn't. It was Shakhtar there winning the group easily, and then Celtic comfortably finishing behind them in second place. Hopefully with an easier draw now in the knockout stage, they can go further. Well, I don't know what to make of this. It looks like the curse goes on. Got drawn against Sofia. I'm not saying they should be beating these teams, but I mean, again, it's Europa League knockout first round stage. Beat Sofia at home, lost 3-1 in aggregate away. It's lost 3-1 away, just that was the way game. In total, they're losing 4-3 in aggregate, and they've been knocked out at the earliest stage possible in the knockout round of the Europa League for the 4th season in a row. I don't know what to make of that, man. It's poor. It's very poor. If they'd probably settle for that in real life, but just if you look at how well they were doing in the last game, I think they made a couple of quarter-finals. They got into the last 16 of the Champions League twice, I think, as well. So they were doing much better now. To me, that either says that the longer this game goes on, the weaker Celtic get, perhaps they sell their better players. Or, I don't know, maybe the other teams are improving, but you'd have thought with Scottish football getting better, with the coefficient going up and the Scottish League improving, you would have thought that Celtic would have got stronger in Europe, but they're just that's not the case. The results are getting worse, so like I said, either Celtic are getting weaker or the other teams around them are getting stronger. Or maybe they're just being unlucky with the draws. They have had some difficult teams. And yeah, maybe it's just bad luck with the draws and not being able to win the ties, but they'll need to do something about that. How did they get on the Betfred Cup? They lost the final to Hearts, not good. Just can't beat Edinburgh teams, can they? And then the Scottish Cup, they lost in the semi-final again, 4 years in a row. So, hold on, that's 4 years in a row that they've been knocked out of the Europa League first round knockout stage, and it's 4 years in a row they've been knocked out of the Scottish Cup semi-final. That is mental. At least they won the league this season, I guess. But it's not really what they want, is it? Anyway, we'll have a quick look at see who they bring in to the fifth and final season, albeit it is the 10th in total. 5th of this episode, 10th season in total. Can they end it on a high? Can they retain their title? And can they finally get past that fucking Europa League knockout stage? Let's see. Alright, so they've spent roughly about the same. 10.25 in, 8.25 out. They've definitely let go of a lot more players, but I don't think there's many noticeable people there. In terms of who they brought in, again, I'm looking at these. I don't really know many of them. This Gabadini, the striker, should be a good player. But apart from that, Joe Bryan, 3.2 million. Is he any good? Scottish, never really heard of him. Patrick Dienk, looks like an Austrian regen. Perhaps he could be good. 66 caps. Currently a goalkeeper, so maybe he'll be alright. Dominic Moore on loan for Chelsea. He's an American. Seems to be good. Plays for Rangers now. Oh, so there you go. Dominic, he's actually signed a real contract with Rangers. So he was on loan at Chelsea. No, it was at Chelsea. Celtic have loaned him. And then in the space of a season, he's ended up at Rangers. Interesting. So maybe he was a spy sent here to, I don't know, what position is he? Maybe he's going to fuck up the defence intentionally and cost Celtic the league. Let's find out and see how they got on. And Celtic, for the 4th time out of 5 in this episode, have won the league. Funnily enough, they've won it by 5 points, and we're exactly where we are at the end of the last video we done with Celtic. If you remember, in the 5th season with Celtic, they won the league by 5 points to Rangers. At this time, in the 2nd video, in the final season, albeit the 5th of this episode, the 10th overall, they've won the league again by 5 points. So I think Celtic, they're not enjoying the 33 points, the title wins that they had at the start of the season. The gap is definitely closed, but overall, they still seem to be the dominant team in Scotland, albeit Rangers did win the league on that occasion. But it wasn't by much, and it did go down to a title fight on the last day where Celtic could have retained. But overall, Celtic still the dominant team in Scotland. Hibernian finishing 2nd, Rangers 3rd, Hearts 5th. Aberdeen, you can see, have fallen down massively. And a side note, I think in real life the fans need to get after Derek McInn's back. Aberdeen, yes, they're a big team, but just financially, they can't. There's nowhere near. They can't compete with the Old Firm. And overall, Hibernian and Hearts are more profitable clubs financially than Aberdeen. It's just a fact, you know what I mean? With them playing in the capital, they can just make more money, and I don't know, they're just clubs with, I don't know, man. It's just Aberdeen, they're doing well. That's the point I'm trying to make. I can't believe I started that much to try and get that out, but they're doing well and they're overachieving. Let's go with that. They're overachieving in real life, and the fans need to get after Derek McInn's back. They want to compete with Celtic, and that's like fucking expecting, I don't know, that's like expecting Saudi Arabia to win the World Cup. Just not going to fucking happen, is it? But anyway, there you go. Let's see how Celtic go on here in the domestic cup and in Europe before we leave. Can they finally get past that knockout stage? Come on, let's do this. Alright, so there you go. Out the Betfred Cup against Hibs. It's these Edinburgh teams. You just cannot. You can beat them in the league, just in the cups. They just can't do nothing against them. So Hibs are knocking out Celtic on penalties. In the Champions League, who did they get? Did they get a winnable group? So they got Tottenham, Dynamo Kiev, and Bayern. So again, not really. It's going to be hard to see Celtic getting out of this group. First game, a shocking 3-0 defeat against Tottenham. Tottenham have still got Dele Alli and Kane, surprisingly. This is the 10th season now into the future. Let's see what they look like. Dele Alli, 31 years old now, still valued at 57 million. He's got 131 caps for England, 42 goals. That is pretty good. I'm surprised though he's stuck it. Then again, I say I'm surprised. I don't really rate him. Same with Kane. They're alright player. I think they're decent, but they're not world class as they're made out to be. So maybe I'm not surprised that they haven't, been bought by a massive club. But at the same time, I think loyalty in Football Manager doesn't really exist. Players seem to move all the time. So for them to both have the players that are regarded as their two, best players after 10 seasons is kind of weird. Harry Kane, valued at 14.75 million. Stats are still good, but he's just older now. 137 caps for England, 85 goals. So not a good start in the Champions League for Celtic. Moving on here. Dynamo Kiev at home, a 2-1 win. They needed that, really. They have to beat Dynamo Kiev because you don't expect them to pick up many points against Spurs and Bayern. They did get an away draw though against Bayern, which is very good. A Marco Padgett penalty, getting them the tie there. Took 2,500 fans to the Alliance Arena and gave the fans something to cheer about there with that draw. Fortunately, they couldn't give the fans anything to cheer about at home. Bayern Munich with a 2-0 win. Alexander Isaac and Julian Draxler with the goals. And then a 2-1 home defeat to Tottenham. Gabbiadini getting a goal, but Dele Alli and Lozano putting Tottenham in the driving seat, giving them the 3 points. And in the final game, a draw against Dynamo Kiev. And I think that will be enough to get Celtic third place again. We'll have a look. Alright, so they were lucky this time, but they have done it again. They've managed to finish third in the Champions League group. They will go into Europa League. Can they get past the knockout stage this time? Come on. They have to do it. It's like a piss take or something. It's, I don't know, some sort of joke, but they have to do this. Come on. Come on. We can do it. We can fucking do it. Let's go. Alright, so it looks like Celtic can finally beat a team from Edinburgh, albeit it is one of the worst teams in the fucking country. Edinburgh City, they are getting drawn against Celtic in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Celtic with a 3-0 defeat of the Edinburgh side. So it looks like they can beat the junior teams of Edinburgh, but they can't beat the big boys, Hearts and Hibernian. Let's move on now. Hearts, they beat Hearts. Oh, they've finally broken their voodoo in the Scottish Cup 5th round. So there you go. They've proved me wrong. Right, we've got Sporting Lisbon, Europa League first knockout round. Got a decent 1-1 away draw against Sporting in Portugal. That sets up the home tie perfectly. Can Celtic finally go through? It's looking good for them. They should be able to do this. Will they get the job done? No, look at that. I don't believe it. What is this? 5 seasons in a row. They've been knocked out of the Europa League knockout first round. What the fuck? Why is this happening? What the hell, man? At least they've managed to get past the Edinburgh teams now. They've beat Hibs again, so they've beat Hearts. Look at that, the Scottish Cup 4th round they beat Edinburgh City, Scottish Cup 5th round they beat Hearts, then Scottish Cup quarter final they beat Hibernian. They've did a Edinburgh hat-trick, but for 4 seasons in a row they've lost in the semi-finals. Can they get past that stage? They can, finally, they've done it. They've beat Motherwell at Hampden. That sets up a Scottish Cup final against, who's it going to be against? Rangers, and they beat them on penalties. So Jesse Lingard plays for Rangers. Mental. Didn't they know that? Anthony Ralston getting the goal. Lingard getting the equaliser. But it was Celtic who went on to win and lift the Scottish Cup after 4 years of semi-final disappointment. So you can see Jesse Lingard currently playing for Rangers. He's only had 16 caps. That's not good, is it? Nah, it's not good at all. He's definitely not turned into the sort of player and Football Manager that they reckon he's going to be in real life for him to only have 16 caps. But yeah, so he got the goal, cancelled out Anthony Ralston's goal, but in the end, didn't matter. Celtic won on penalties. And after 10 seasons, Celtic are still the dominant force in Scotland. Alright, so let's just have a quick look at how Celtic have done now over the course of the 10 years. Obviously, they haven't done any better in the European Champions League or Europa League, but they have added 9 Premiership titles to their name. They've won everyone apart from in 2025. Obviously, we know Rangers won that. Didn't even finish runner-up. They did finish 3rd place though, which I doubt they want, but they've done it. Scottish Cup, how many have they won? They won it in just the one. So at last Scottish Cup, that's mental. Since we started this series, it took them 10 seasons to win the Scottish Cup. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And they only finished runner-up once, so Celtic have been absolutely shocking in the Scottish Cup. It took Rodgers 10 seasons to win it. Mental. Bit more success in the Betfred Cup, though, as you can see. They won it in 2020, 23 and 24. And came runners-up in 25. You see, Champions Cup, like I said, the first 2 seasons they managed to get into the last 16, where they got very difficult ties against Man United and PSG, where they lost both of them. But since those first 2 seasons, they've not managed to get the group stage. They've managed to get 1 4th place finish and 6 3rd place finishes, which is, I'm not saying it's bad, but I just thought after the first 2 seasons showing so much progress, so much signs of improvement in Europe, and I don't know, I just thought they would have kicked on a little bit and maybe even got past the first knockout stage. But to not even in 8 attempts after that to get the group stage, I do think that's poor. And maybe they'll improve on it when we do the 15 years into the future. But yeah, as for now, man, it's not good enough. 8 seasons in a row without getting out the Champions League group stage. The Europa League, though, as you can see, since they've just not first. So they've never got out the first. Obviously, the 5 seasons we did in this episode, they got knocked out in the first round. Then the last previous times when they've fallen from the last episode, all the times they've fallen out of the cup, they've been knocked out. Every time they've fallen out of the Champions League into Europa League, they've been knocked out. Albeit they have had difficult games, not going to deny it. Tottenham, Barca, Liverpool, Wolfsburg, Guingamp, Sofia, and Sporting. I mean, no easy teams there. Maybe Guingamp you'd expect them to beat, but probably, or maybe arguably Sporting, but you know, every other team, they're definitely underdogs. But I think it's surprising they've never got past the first round knockout stage. So I mean, Celtic, yes, I mean, it was good. The first 2 seasons they did fantastic, getting to the last 16 of the Champions League. But since then, I definitely say that their European form has been poor. Alright, now let's go do it. We'll have a quick look at some of the top players for Celtic before finishing off the episode. The best 2 players at the moment are loanees. Christian Delfino. He's on loan from Chelsea, Uruguayan, valued at 21 million. He's only 22 years old, 41 caps for Uruguay. He's a regen, obviously. Looks like a fantastic player. Richard Barani, worth 12.25 million, on loan again for Chelsea. Looks like Chelsea and Celtic appear to have some sort of loan system thing, because they seem to be getting a lot of loanees for Chelsea. You got Robbie Taylor, 11 million, who's Scottish regen, seems to be a very good player. Got Anthony Ralston, he seems to be unhappy. Why is that? Unhappy transfer was blocked. Maybe he wants to leave to a bigger club. I'm not quite sure why his transfer was blocked. I'll have a quick look at his stats. What's he valued at? Anthony Ralston valued at 10.75 million. He's made 62 caps. He seems to want to move to a different team. But anyway, there you go. There is Celtic's team. Still the number 1 in Scotland. But definitely not number 1 in Europe, as you can see from those results. So there you go, guys. That is it. 10 years into the future with Celtic. 9 titles out of 10 isn't bad. But I still think they'll be disappointed to lose that title to the Rangers, especially at last day title decider. So yeah, that'll be it. Next up in the series, I will probably cover Aberdeen. I decided I'm just going to do all the Scottish Premiership teams in the order they finished from last season. So in real life, that is. So I'll be doing Aberdeen next, and then Rangers, and then Hibs, and then Kilmarnock, Hearts, and so on. Cover all the top Scottish teams, and then I'll maybe cover a couple of the top big teams from the lower leagues, and then do the national team and see if Scotland have got any closer to qualifying for a tournament or winning a World Cup or something. Even win the game, even a friendly against Malta. I'd settle for anything. I'm not greedy. Fuck it, I'm desperate. When you're Scottish, you take what you can get. Even a bottle iron brew at this stage would be considered successful. But anyway, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Fucking hell, I've used all this hi-fi, spot or whatever on my phone. It's going to cost me a fortune to upload this, but I got to do it, guys. Got to keep YouTube strong, man. Till next time, peace.